Watch out!
It's 2025. This year is bringing a lot of Nintendo goodness. We will finally be seeing the Nintendo Switch 2. We will finally have our hands on Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA. We will finally be able to see what awesome games Nintendo has slated for the Switch 2 itself. And we'll be able to feast our eyes on the size and fidelity of the games that we can expect from the new system. Today, we get our first glimpse of what Switch 2 will have to offer. There's a lot of new info popping up now that we've reached the new year. All in one fell swoop, the announcement date for Switch 2 has been confirmed by Nintendo. The logo has been revealed to us by a leaker. Some official specs have made their way as public knowledge thanks to leaked images of the Switch 2's innards. And public domain patents reveal key features that the Switch 2 will have, confirming many leaks we've discussed previously on this channel, which were all substantial. So be sure to stick around as we discuss all of these awesome findings. First, let's talk release date. A few weeks ago, I made a video telling you guys that Nintendo gave a rough schedule for Switch 2 during an internal meeting. The meeting was between Nintendo and their investors. Now at the time, it was all hearsay from trusted insiders with no official statement by Nintendo or the investors themselves, at least not to the public. I told you all that within the meeting, they said their first reveal trailer for the system would be no later than March 31st, 2025. I'm sure not all of you believed me, but now you don't have to hear it from me anymore. You can hear it straight from Nintendo's partners. Official conglomerates like Walmart and even the Game Awards made the official statements on social media. They confirmed what I found leaked for you guys from that meeting a month or so ago. So, read it and weep. Nintendo will be making their announcement for the Switch successor no later than March 31st, 2025. Complete with golden check marks in case you had any doubts that these were the official pages. Now, we've already speculated on when exactly in these next 3 months Nintendo might make their announcement, but I can safely say it's likely to be around Pokemon Day in February, or simply afterwards in March, since Pokemon Legends ZA is going to have a trailer on Pokemon Day. ZA has been confirmed in leaks to be a Switch 1 game, but the trailer on Pokemon Day may or may not revolve around how the Switch 2 upscales Switch 1 games. And to push sales for the Switch 2 next holiday season, I've no doubt Pokemon Legends ZA will be right there alongside Metroid Prime 4 as a poster child for this feature. Now, those are the two biggest games Nintendo has announced for 2025, so to maintain proper hype for these Switch 1 games, being ZA and Prime 4, simultaneously with the Switch 2, I do think the trailers will have to be fairly close in release, regardless of which order they come out. We will talk more about how this upscaling on Switch 2 works later in the video, as details have come out for that this week as well. But for now, let's move on to the logo for Switch 2. Currently, Nintendo and its partners have been referring to Switch 2 as the successor to Nintendo Switch. However, according to known Nintendo leaker Pyro, this Switch 2 logo really is the logo for the new system that we'll be seeing this year. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. The simplicity is refreshing and just what Nintendo needs when coming off the heels of Switch 1. The original Switch has been a huge success. The gimmick of portability is so simple yet effective that one thing has been made crystal clear by consumers. We just want a more powerful version of the same thing. Developers seem to want that as well. Newer Switch 1 games like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Bayonetta 3 show that even developers working on Switch exclusives have higher ambitions than what the Switch 1 can support with its hardware, leading to a larger number of games with unstable frame rates released in the last couple years, because the games are so large or feature-rich. The Switch 1 just can't handle it. Conversely, the install base of Switch 1 is ginormous. It helps immensely with the sales for exclusives. That's good for Nintendo and for the development studios who work so hard on these games, both from a financial standpoint and a motivational standpoint. This Switch 2 logo works because of the simplicity, but also recognizability. It looks like the Switch 1 symbol, but with it too. And just like Switch 1, it's simple and effective. This is very unlike the Wii U, which aimed to capitalize on the success of the Wii, but didn't quite hit the mark because it confused people. This time, it seems Nintendo won't fail in the endeavor of capitalizing on a previous success. They've learned from their mistakes. Proud of you, Nintendo! Speaking of proud, let's dive into the leaked motherboard, dock, and casing of Switch 2. The most recent revelation is the motherboard of the Switch 2, which gives us a glance of the new NVIDIA chip we previously talked about on this channel, the T239. This chip is less powerful than the PS5's, but it makes up for it with DLSS capabilities. DLSS stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. In the simplest of terms, this is essentially advanced AI upscaling. It's a new form of it and is considered a breakthrough in technology. Now, why is that? What does it do exactly? Well, even though the chip itself is about as powerful as a PS4, the built-in DLSS acts as a multiplier for performance without needing to use as many resources. Think of it as the Super Saiyan transformation to a computer chip. You have the same base power, but you can multiply your power and capabilities at will. In case any of you are worried, DLSS is a morally righteous use of AI, since all it does is cut on tedium and restrictions for the developer, and it doesn't impact any creative aspects of the products at all. It's simply numbers at work, doing the chores so the developers can put all their work into the creativity. We've also caught glimpses of the pre-production versions of the Switch 2. Here you can see the dock, and over here we can see the side of the Switch complete with the new stand. And finally here we see that Switch 2 logo that Pyro confirmed was the real one. In case you were worried that these were fake because of the plus being on the wrong side in this image of the Switch 2, you'd actually be surprised to know that pre-production Switch units have their markings reversed. Compare this with leaked images of things like the Switch Lite before it released and you'll see what I mean. Everything is backwards on it. Yet, this was a real leak. So, let's top off all this good news with a look at the recent release of a patent Nintendo filed in 2023. This regards the DLSS capabilities of Switch 2, and even dives into their desire for improving Switch 1 games with the new system. We can see this with specific mention of output resolutions of 540 pixels being upscaled with increased graphical fidelity. 540 pixels was a resolution some Switch games would output in handheld. With Switch 2 having a base power of a PS4, even in handheld form, I don't foresee a need to mention 540 pixels as a resolution for Switch 2. So this essentially gives further credence to leaks of Switch 1 games being improved when played on Switch 2. And in a previous video where we talked about Nintendo's statements and their press releases with investors, we already know that the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with Switch 1 games. So it furthers those leaks and statements, but it also further credits all these leaked images of the system and motherboard by mentioning DLSS within the patent. Since again, these leaked images of the motherboard shows the NVIDIA chip that has these capabilities. And you know what's extra crazy to think about too, is these DLSS features might even make Switch 2 games look even better than some PS5 games. That's completely insane to me, but I'm all here for it. Super Saiyan Switch, here we come. But with all this good news comes one bit of bad news. And that bad news is for no one aside from Nintendo, baby. The Switch 2 has essentially been the worst kept secret by the gaming giant in history. The news cycle regarding their new system has been completely out of their hands. Sitting on an announcement any longer will be nothing but a detriment to them, so I do think they need to reveal it sooner rather than later. They absolutely should not wait until March to give us a damn trailer. They need to take their creation back into their own hands and control their news cycles, because currently, they just look sloppy. But hey, at least the Switch 2 itself does not look sloppy. Not in the slightest. So, with everything you learned today, what aspects are you most excited for out of the new console? Let me know down in the comments section. I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon for making this video possible, and if you would like to help support me and have your name in my videos as well, feel free to click the link right in front of you. Afterwards, check out more of my videos like this one here on the right, where I found out what the price of the Switch 2 will be. I've been johtojonny, and I'll catch you all there.